Hello, gamers. It's me, Lamani, and welcome back to the channel. And today, we got something a little bit different. I've been sitting here doing some gaming, doing some New World stuff. I get a little boop boop on Discord, and we have a rather big announcement coming in from Amazon Games announcing their collaboration with Embracer Group and Middle-earth Enterprises to make an MMORPG based in the Lord of the Rings universe. And this is gigantic. It's something I'm super excited for. I have some speculation about, and I have plenty on my mind, and I'm going to do my typical Amani thing and share with all of you my ridiculous thoughts, comments, and ideas. We have this rather massive announcement, kind of AGS just laying that out there and saying, hey, we got something really big being planned. But I do have some initial concerns about New World. So like I was saying, if we go to the tweet, we go to the Discord post, Amazon Games is simply announcing, hey, we are in the early stages of development on a brand new IP that is going to be an MMO. It's going to be more advanced and different than New World. It's not going to be like New World 2.0, but this is going to be monumental as all of us nerds out there, us mouth breathers, love the Lord of the Rings universe. But so what are our initial impressions when it comes to AGS, when it comes to New World, when it comes to the greater genre of MMORPG? Well, here's the lowdown. So my initial impressions, Amazon is not just a publisher, like I'm saying, like they are on Games on Lost Ark or upcoming Blue Protocol, but they are a developer. As a content creator for the wonderful wasteland that is New World, my initial thoughts are just hearing that AGS is developing another MMO, that the future's a little bit bleak for New World when I'm reading through some of these articles. But with that being said, I'm still excited and eager to play what there is for New World. We have a whole roadmap over the next year that has some really big content features. There's huge things. There's an expansion coming, but I'm really excited to play a game that's based in the Lord of the Rings universe that is made by AGS and ultimately is an MMO. So those are obviously my initial impressions, excitement, ready to make some new content and pursue some new avenues. When it comes to me as a New World content creator, what is really the problem right now with this announcement? Well, if we're looking at AGS, their history, all that kind of stuff, and what's upcoming for the world of MMOs, there is a second news article posted on the Amazon Games website just talking about kind of the history of the Lord of the Rings connection to Amazon Games, and we'll dive into that into a separate video. But just initial feelings, thoughts, impressions on how they're starting to think about this game and what they're really looking to do. And there is a section within this, and I've posted this down in the description, and it talks about a fitting follow-up for the New World team. And they're saying that, yes, Lord of the Rings will not be a New World 2.0, but it will build upon some of its systems and some of the things that they've learned from this. But they do have a section here saying the studio will continue to support New World as it begins to work on this new Lord of the Rings project in earnest. Thankfully, its large team has developed a pragmatic and proven approach to building and sustaining an MMO and understands how to manage multiple projects in parallel, all while listening to player feedback. Though I think there could be some argument there. But regardless, I think a couple things when I read this, and you can look at it as, devil's advocate kind of perspective or as a doom and gloomer. But when I'm hearing it, I'm seeing support New World. One, not necessarily develop New World and create new things for New World. And again, maybe that's just me reading in between the lines, but that is an initial concern as it comes as a long-term New World player, especially with New World approaching its 2-year anniversary. But I think the other piece of it is that they stated they will support it as it begins to work on this new project. And yes, there's a large beginning period, but as it begins is not necessarily, hey, we're going to explicitly state we will be supporting both of these projects throughout the course of development as they're published. And yes, there's obviously much more in terms of the timeline coming, but I think when I'm reading that, that's kind of a punch in the gut at first, where I'm like, does this mean the end of New World? I don't think so, but as you start to read more and more and more, you definitely get that sense of doom and gloom in your heart. I'm not going to lie. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, AGS knows that New World is struggling. If we look at the Steam charts, we know we're going back down. We had a little bump with Season 1. Hopefully, raids and the expansion will bring new players. But I think that AGS deep down knows that given New World's history, it's not going to compete with the upcoming MMOs. You look at the Riot MMO that's coming. You look at Ashes of Creation that'll come in 2029. You look at Throne and Liberty coming. You look at a lot of the WoW updates or WoW things that happen that does pull some of the population always. But even if you start to look at games like Blue Protocol, these do have some legit competition there that will pull away from New World. And although so much effort is going into the future of New World, its development, and really trying to improve the player base. I mean, even you look at, we completely revamped the forums, and again, a lot of debate there sometimes, but it's now just a Discord. They did a major revamp to really optimize the game and the community, and it doesn't seem like they're stopping anytime soon. But then you start to think about it a bit more. Amazon Games Orange County already develops New World. Do they actually have the ability, the resources, and the capacity to develop two MMOs at once? If you read this same article, it's going to say that they're using their learnings and expertise that they've gotten from developing New World and sort of springboard forward into the creation of Lord of the Rings. And while I truly don't think they're going to kill off New World per se, I do think we're starting to maybe see the upcoming of a slower paced, even slower than we have experienced, development of New World, and where we truly do start to see it play a second fiddle to something much, much larger. So what does this actually mean for New World? Me personally, I'll continue to play. I'm going to keep putting content out there. And I do think that the New World roadmap that's currently out there, we'll see how things pan out, see what happens, and maybe some of these engine adjustments and major gameplay changes will actually give it some breath to compete in the meantime. But when I start to read about how Orange County wants to use their expertise and learnings from New World to help build Lord of the Rings, it's almost as though New World has been a test game in the MMO scene that they could make sure they could use and get that experience with before taking on the major feat of an IP associated with something so massive as the Lord of the Rings universe and so popular. And if you don't know, Amazon was scheduled to make this game. They had sort of announced it back in 2019. They stopped and said there was too much difficulty back in 2021, right before New World was released. And so now if we start to think about this, if you look at New World's history, a game that had such a monumental launch, had so many players, but has then slowly declined from bugs, dupes, server issues, development problems, lack of content, lack of gameplay, just general concerns with systems such as wars. Now think about, instead of New World, if they would have created a game, maybe even like New World, but in the Lord of the Rings environment, and that was their first major MMO. We have all of New World's history, but now associate it with Lord of the Rings. It wouldn't bode well for the future of that game. But now New World is New World, and many people have gone in, played it, and they have this bad taste in their mouth, and they're not willing to come back. Yes, it still has a player base and everything else, and it's being developed, but all this bad history that's associated with New World is now just associated with New World forever and not Lord of the Rings, meaning it can't really be a major competitor in the future, like when we were talking about Riot and Ashes of Creation TM 2029, but it won't be able to compete to that extent. So Amazon knows we need something that can give us some skin in the game. So that's why I start to get this feeling of, is New World kind of a little bit going towards the grave? Lord of the Rings will be an exciting fresh start. Don't get me wrong. And I love the AGS team, and I'm excited to see what they can do. And I'm just interested to make more content and ways that we can start to learn more. It will be a long ways out, and we still have plenty of New World to go, people. Whoever's still there, at least. And at the end of the day, New World, it's part of a major company. Amazon is huge. They have money, they have resources, and they certainly can do things to try and support two MMOs, which would be a very, very, very difficult thing to accomplish. I mean, they already have $1 billion invested in Lord of the Rings, in getting the rights back even 2017 when they initially bought the rights, and everything they have actually invested into this title. And so anything can happen. It's just a little bit difficult to think that New World is going to be put on the forefront, right? We started with the seasonal announcement to say, hey, there is legitimate competition potentially coming from New World. We have an expansion, we have raids, we have PvE content, but after season 1, things have definitely slowed down, it seems. It's not necessarily in line with bringing in new players, and a lot is being done, but it's not necessarily seeing that same success, and it just keeps getting lower and lower and lower. And so your negative, intrusive thoughts can only lead you to believe one thing, and that is that New World's days may be numbered. But again, I am still here. New World has been the sole focus of my channel for its entire existence. Who knows what's coming on the horizon? So this is sort of my announcement for, yes, Amazon is making a new game, But what does that mean for the New World community? What does that mean for the Lamani channel? I hope all of you, you're here for the long run of all the content I make for the, 10 of you who still watch my New World videos. I am eager and excited to start diving in, and so is Leo here, to a new IP and what Amazon has to offer. So, as always, there will be more New World content coming this week. There will be potential Lord of the Rings content coming. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you to every single one of you beautiful people for being you. Peace.